Welcome back to Let's Make Lemonade, where we make lemonade from the lemons that we, women in infertility, have received. My name is Selena. If you're new to this channel, I have been dealing with unexplained infertility for 9 years, and we are deciding to do IVF. We have decided to do IVF, to take the plunge. I have been sick of not getting pregnant and trying naturally over month after month after month, and decided, you know what, we're gonna do this. So we are in the middle of IVF. We are actually approaching our first embryo transfer, if you are new. And so today what we are gonna talk about is what happened on my last appointment in process to actually do this embryo transfer. And if you connect with me on Instagram, you would know that it was a go. I got the green light and it was a go. And so I wanna share with you what happened at that appointment and what my doctor said to me. If you saw my last couple of videos, especially my last one, you would have seen that I was so very nervous. Like, I woke up anxious and I was just pretty much full of anxiety. And what we have figured out, a lot of that was probably the estrogen, and then some of that was just really just stressing out, wondering what the heck was going to happen, and hoping that I was going to get the green light to just go ahead and go and do this transfer finally. But this go around, because of the stress and anxiety that I did have, in the other appointments, I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. And so I just prayed, and I spent a lot of time in prayer, a lot of time in worship, and I decided that things were going to be different. And I can't say that I didn't have any fear, because that would be impossible. I'm a human. We're human, right? We have fear. Fear floods into our minds very naturally. I've just decided what to do with that fear has been really the game changer. And for me, just praying, kind of speaking positive affirmations, and when things would come into my mind, I'm like, nope, that's not going to happen. This is what's going to happen. That is what's helped me. Mondo actually went with me for this appointment, and I was really glad he did, because I didn't know how it was going to go, and if it was going to go bad, I just knew that I would need his support. And so, but I didn't even ask him. He just said, hey, I'm going to go with you, and I was really happy about that. We got up early, just got ready for the day. We were out the door, and thankfully, I know this is not the case in a lot of people's situation, but thankfully my fertility clinic is literally right down the road. It takes us maybe 10 minutes to get there, if that. And so we're super fortunate. Let me tell you, one of the IVF doctors that I went to go see and I had a consult with was in Kentucky. I'm in Tennessee. It was about a few hours to drive. And so I know what it means to take a really long trip to actually see a fertility specialist. So I was really thankful that I didn't have to do that. We didn't have to do that, considering all the appointments that go into all of this, if you know what I mean. And the really cool thing is that my doctor, it's not a huge clinic, it's a really small one. It's just him. He used to work in a really large clinic, and it was impersonal. It was impersonal to him. And so he decided to open up his one of for himself. And so I love that, because I see him every appointment, which is really awesome. And it just makes you feel like he cares. The other cool thing is that he's really quick. He's super efficient. So we show up at I literally showed up at 8:29, signed in, sat down, and not even, I'm gonna say 2 minutes later, they call my name. They have a really good, efficient team going on. So anyway, I go in there. I'm assuming I was the first patient. I get the ultrasound done. The lining is great. Now, if you saw my other video, or if you follow me on social media, you would know that my lining was 8 millimeters last time. And so I was stressing out, like, oh my gosh, it's already 8 millimeters. What if it's too much? What if it grows too thick? Because, there are cycles that are canceled because sometimes the lining is too thick. And I was thinking about all the things that could go wrong, right? But go into this appointment and he says, okay, your lining is at 9.5 millimeters. Even to be more specific, it's 9.54 millimeters.
We're in good shape, y'all. Just keep praying. We're almost there.
So I was super duper happy about that. So ecstatic. Because as long as it's over 7, then that's all they look for. My estrogen, the last time I went in, it was at 159. And then when I went in this time, it was 183. They really want the estrogen to be close to 200, but he said he really wasn't worried about it, because I'm going to be on estrogen for another 4 days before, our transfer. And so, and then he also said that more importantly, the lining is what is most important above everything. And so because my progesterone was low, my body is responding to the meds, to the estrogen. He felt like he had no doubt that he could just give me the green light to move forward with the transfer. So I was ecstatic. Of course, I still had to get the call at the end of the day or in the afternoon. So I waited to get that call, and one of the nurses called me and she said, all right, you're good to go. Your estrogens were, and she explained to me about the whole estrogen thing and all that stuff. And so I was just super duper happy. I was super happy about it all. And I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. We've never gotten this close. And I know that anything can happen. I know that the transfer can fail. I'm very well aware of all of the things that could go wrong. I am happy about this. I am celebrating in this moment. I am happy in this moment. And no matter what, God has us. I truly believe that it's all going to work out in the end and that God has us. My appointment was yesterday. I'm filming this the day after. So we got the green light to go ahead and do the progesterone and oil shots last night. And so Mondo, he gave me my first shot in the butt, or above the butt really. And it went pretty good. We did pretty well. We shared it. We did live on Instagram. And so we did that and shared it with everyone. So that was cool. We go again tonight. Fine tuning his technique a little bit. Yesterday, he straight up like dart, like really, really fast in my butt muscle. I think he's gonna perfect his technique and get even better tonight. So we'll see how that goes. However, we need to film it. And so the next video will be us going through the progesterone and oil shots and how all that goes. And so he'll be a part of that video. Be on the lookout for that video. There's a number of tips and tricks that I have learned from all of the women in this infertility community on how to avoid the lumps. The progesterone and oil shots the lumps that it can create. And so I'll share that with you in the next video. And so far so good. I don't have any bumps from yesterday's shot. So hopefully it's all good. Hopefully that I will avoid all of that. But I have a long ways, hopefully, God willing, a long ways to go with the shots. You do it, you continue to do it for, what is it, up to 10 weeks after pregnancy. So hopefully we'll be doing this for a while. What is next? Well, my transfer is on Tuesday, May the 14th. So today, as I'm filming this, is on Friday, so we don't have very much longer to go. We will show up at 10:30 a.m. That is the time of our procedure, but I have to show up 45 minutes beforehand. Drink a lot of water because the water helps to flatten the cervix, I don't know if that's the correct way to say it. And I have been known to have a really curvy cervix, so the water should help flatten it and for the doctor to be able to go ahead and put the catheter in with no problem and to transfer our first embryo. If you haven't seen my other video, our embryos are pre-genetically screened or pre-genetically tested. And so they have been tested for being chromosomally normal. That increases the chances of pregnancy 50 to 65%, but there is no guarantee. There is no promise. I've seen many women who have had transfers with, chromosomally normal tested embryos and it didn't work. So only God knows what's going to happen. But for today, I am excited. We are excited. This is something new. It's a new part in our chapter of our story. And we hope that it, of course, will end in a great result. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with IVF, for my friends and for my family, with IVF, you don't know instantly. It's kind of like, you have intercourse and you wait for those 2 weeks and you take a pregnancy test and then you see if it worked. Well, with this process, you do this, you go in for the transfer, and then they schedule for you to come back in for another 2 weeks to actually draw your blood. And so you go in that morning, you get your blood taken, and then you don't know if you're pregnant or not until you get the call later in the afternoon. That is the worst. I think that is going to be one of the hardest calls that I'll ever have to take. It could end in a really, really happy time, and it could bring us really, really low. So for all of you loved ones, please keep us in your prayers. I think my beta is scheduled later in May, but I'll go ahead and let you guys know that as that time draws nearer. I will continue to record, and I will tell you symptoms. I'm really not going to try to symptom spot. I really don't want to do that. But I will see how we'll go about this. But I'll definitely be connecting with you. If you are not connecting with me on Instagram, please feel free to do that. That is where I update my day-to-day stuff every day. So that's super helpful if you kind of want to know what's going on in this journey of ours. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And also don't forget to hit the bell. The bell is what tells you every time, it notifies you every time we upload a video. So even though you might subscribe, you'll only get videos here and there, and you won't see every single video until you push that bell. So that's why I mention it every time, because it does make a difference. I love connecting with you. Please leave your comments below. I love hearing from you women who are doing this at the same time. I've already found transfer buddies here through YouTube, and it is so freaking cool. I wish you well. I seriously pray for you all every single day, and I hope that we can all come out with this in success. I really, really do. My heart is with you. I am praying for you, and just fight. You know, we are fighters, and we are going to keep fighting until, I know for me, I'm going to keep fighting until I have my baby in my arms, and hopefully, God willing, not just one, more than one. I'm thinking of you every day, every single day. Until next time, see you then.